I'm glad to see everybody. Good that you're here. Remember we talked last week that we were going to start looking at some root words. Words that in themselves aren't necessarily words, but they can help us unpack words that we'll see as we go on through. So today we are going to take a look at the root word rupt, which R-U-P-T. I want everybody to say that with me, please. Rupt.
Rupt.
Good. Let's say it again. Rupt.
Rupt.
Now, is this a word in itself? Have we ever seen just the word rupt by itself? No, we haven't. But this word, I'm sure you're probably thinking of some words that you might have heard that involve this root inside it. And knowing this root is going to help us out because there may be 4, 5, 6, or 7 words that have that root rupt inside it. And once we see rupt, we're going to know exactly what it is, and that'll give us a big clue about what that word means. There may just be a prefix or something at the beginning. There may be another thing at the end. But by itself, we'll know what that word means so we can deal with it. Okay, so I've passed you out your quadrant charts. And so go ahead and put in the word rupt there on the upper left. R-U-P-T. And how does it pronounce it again?
Rupt.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so if we're going to put down a quick definition of the word rupt, one simple definition is it means to break. So let's put that down in our upper right-hand column there. That basically the word rupt means to break. Something will break, will rupt. And we're going to look at several examples of this that we see, and so these are some words that we could get to know. So on your part of the quadrant chart where it talks about examples, this would be some good places where you can make some notes on this. So let's look at a couple of examples here. We see, if we go up to our screen, some examples. We can say, I'm going to start here on the top. We see 2 different examples of erupt. Erupt. So we see this volcano is erupting. Literally, this volcano, this mountain has broke apart. And from inside it, we're seeing this molten lava come down and cascade down the sides. This mountain has broken. It has erupted. Say that with me.
Erupted.
Erupt. We also see another example sometimes when they do construction and the backhoe gets in there and starts doing its business. It breaks a water pipe and causes this water over here to erupt. So say that with me. Erupt. So those are a couple of things. We might see that out in nature. Now, if you're like me, you might be able to relate to this other example. Sometimes, we get a check, and the time goes by, and everything's great at the beginning of the month, but at the end of the month, whoo, things are looking when you got $1.62 in the checking account, and we got the whole week to go. We could be bankrupt. We saw here Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes they spin the wheel and they've got $82,000 and they hit the bankrupt and they go, woo, and all the money is gone. Because literally bankrupt means the bank is broken. Your bank is broken when you're bankrupt. There's no money in there. So we saw up here erupt. So let's say that erupt. We saw over here bankrupt. And if we go back to the board over here, we can see the root inside these words. We've got bankrupt. Where's our root in bankrupt?
At the end.
Right at the end, the word rupt right there. And then we saw the word erupt. Where's our root here? Right after that E, R-U-P. So break the bank, mountains breaking open, or the pavements breaking open, and water is erupting. We'll go toward a more recent example of rupted, one that we might be more used to. If you watched the presidential debate last week, we saw a lot of interrupting going on. Interrupt. So we saw one of the candidates, which will remain nameless, interrupt frequently while the other one was trying to talk. So let's say that one. Interrupt.
Interrupt.
Interrupt. So let's look at that one. We'll see that root word again. So we've got here now a prefix, and then we've got our root over here with rupt. So let's see. Have you ever been in a classroom and the teacher was teaching and things were kind of out of control? Yeah, we've probably seen that before, where the class was disrupted or disrupt happened. And so we see our root once again, where the instruction was broken or the classroom was kind of broken up by the noise that was going on or whatever was happening there. So we have other examples of words where we see rupt. Where can we think of some?
Corrupt.
Ah, that's a good one. So
I thought that was the
corrupt's a good one.
It's already up there.
Especially as we're talking about politics, we can talk about that.
So it's corrupt up there.
So we're going to go with
4 times.
corrupt. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does corrupt mean? Okay, dishonestly, we could say that somebody's honesty was broken. You might see if you're working with a computer and you put a flash drive in or something and it might say, this file is corrupt, or whatever medium you put in there is broken, so it has been corrupted. And can you use something that's been corrupted? No, because it's broken there. The ability to use that has been broken. You cannot use that disk. Let's see, and we see the corrupt politicians there. Other places where we may have seen the root word rupt in. Rupture, because we saw, that's a good one. We can see some examples with the water main there of rupture. So I'd like somebody to come up here and show me where we see that root rupt in the word rupture. Come on down here. Terry, show me where, please, if you want to underline that. Show me where we see that root word rupt in there.
Right here.
That was awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Let's say we're riding in the car and a kitten comes across there and we slam on the brakes. We could say we've come to an abrupt stop. Yeah, that's a good one. Abrupt. So once again, we've got our root here, and our progress has been broken. Our going down the street has been broken. And so we've got our root word right here again with rupt. So I'm going to put up another word here. I'm going to ask you to show me where our root is. We've got here disrupt, shun. Let's see here. Where do we see our root word in this word?
In the middle.
In the middle, okay. So our rupt is there. If we have the word ruptured, R-U-P-T-U-R-E-D, where do we see our root in there? So the beginning we've added in this case a suffix onto there. And if we have the word corruption, so we looked at corrupt earlier, where do we see our root in this one? We see that in the middle again, so there is rupt. So we've got several. Any other examples we can think of where we see that root in there, rupt meaning broken? Obstruct. So where would we see, how do we see an obstruction take place? That's a great example. Yeah, where do we see that outside?
Road construction.
Yeah, so that's a great example. Tree comes down, obstructs, so your ability to go down the street is broken. The trees come across there, creating an obstruction. That's awesome.
But obstruction doesn't have road in it.
Obstruct. Obstruct. That's true. Obstruction. It does. It's close. We got trucked. It's trucked instead of rucked. Close. 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 Yeah, that's true. See instead of one. So that's a good thought. Any other words that we could think of? I think we've got a good list. So now to practice this, I'm going to go ahead and pass out a handout here that has our root in there, and I'm going to ask you to take a look at the times that we see rupt inside this. So we've got a prefix, we've got a root, and we've got a suffix. Remember those prefixes at the beginning, suffix at the end. I ask you to put those together and create some words, and then find where we've got rupt inside some other words, and I'm going to ask you also to say those words to a partner. So this will be a way to practice this skill.